Ever have that feeling? That deep, gut-wrenching certainty that something is terribly, terribly wrong? My story starts there. Not in a dark alley, but in the polished, sterile heart of my own office. One minute, I'm closing a deal. The next, the world is a blur of flashing sirens and the cold, unforgiving click of handcuffs. My face, reflected in the mahogany desk, was a mask of sheer terror. It was the beginning of a nightmare I never saw coming. In my desperation, I found him. Arthur Cole. His office was a monument to success-rich wood paneling, leather-bound books, and a view that screamed, "I win." He was sleek, confident, with a smile that could calm a raging storm. He spoke of justice, of process, of inevitable victory. I wanted to believe him so badly that I signed the check, a number with more zeros than I'd ever seen. The handshake felt off. His grip was firm but cold, while mine was just desperate. It was the most expensive mistake of my life. The betrayal wasn't a sudden stab in the back. It was a slow poison. In the weeks leading up to the trial, Arthur was a ghost. Important meetings? He canceled last minute. Crucial evidence I'd spent nights gathering? It would be carelessly tossed aside on his desk, or worse, just disappear. I remember staring at my phone, the screen glowing in the dark, calling his number again and again. Voicemail. Always voicemail. A key witness's name was suddenly crossed off our list. No explanation. Just a casual stroke of a pen that felt like a death sentence. The man I hired to save me was letting me drown. Then came the trial. The courtroom was an icebox, sterile and intimidating. I'd lean over, frantically whispering to Arthur, pointing out a lie from the prosecution, a hole in their story. He'd just give me that calm, infuriating smile and a little shake of his head. "Trust the process," he'd murmur. Objections that should have been shouted were never made. Evidence that could have cleared my name was fumbled, presented so poorly it looked like a forgery. I looked at the jury, their faces a mixture of confusion and conviction, and I saw it. I saw my life slipping away. Through their eyes, I wasn't just a defendant. I was a fool being played by his own lawyer. The gavel fell like a hammer blow, each strike echoing in the heavy silence of the room. I was losing, and my own lawyer was doing nothing to stop it. I cornered him in a hallway during a recess. The mask had to drop. "What are you doing, Arthur?" "They're burying me in there." My voice was shaking with rage. But he was a statue of unnerving calm. He adjusted his silk tie, his eyes devoid of any emotion. "We have a strategy," he said, his voice a condescending purr. "You need to trust the process. Trust the process." The process was a railroad, and he was the one laying the tracks right to a prison cell. In that cold, sterile hallway, under the dead fluorescent lights, I finally understood. He wasn't incompetent. This was deliberate. This was sabotage. I was trapped. House arrest felt like a cage. The world saw me as a criminal on the verge of conviction. But in that isolation, a different feeling started to grow, pushing past the despair, cold, hard fury. The seed of doubt Arthur had planted had grown into a forest of suspicion. I couldn't use my main phone or computer. They were being monitored. But I had a burner phone, a relic from a past business trip. Late at night, with only the blue glow of a laptop screen illuminating my face, I started my own investigation. I became a detective in my own life's crime story, poring over digital copies of every document, every email, every single piece of paper related to my case. I wasn't just fighting for my freedom anymore. I was hunting a traitor. The money. It's always about the money. I dove into the financial records of my own companies, the plaintiffs, and the breadcrumb trail I was sure Arthur had left. And there it was, hidden in plain sight. Massive wire transfers from the very corporation suing me funneled through a series of shell companies and landing in a consulting firm. A firm that was registered to Arthur Cole's wife. The payments were labeled consulting fee. The irony was sickening. He was being paid to consult on how to best destroy me. The screen glitched as I zoomed in on the dates, the names. It all lined up perfectly with every missed objection, every piece of lost evidence. This wasn't just a hunch anymore. This was a conspiracy, written in dollars and cents. With the digital evidence piling up, I needed to see it for myself. A trusted friend, the only one who still believed me, did some surveillance. The photo they sent me made my blood run cold. It was a grainy, long-distance shot taken outside a dimly lit steakhouse, miles from either of their offices. There was Arthur, sharing a laugh with the CEO of the company suing me. In the photo, a thick envelope was being passed under the table. It was the kind of cliché scene you see in movies, but this was my life. The shadowy figures, the secret meeting, the payoff. The proof was undeniable. My savior was a snake. I had it all. The bank statements, the shell company records, the photo. A flash drive containing a decade of my life and the conspiracy that was meant to end it. The anger that had been burning me up had cooled into something harder, something more strategic. I found a new lawyer, a young, hungry public defender who looked at the files with eyes wide with disbelief, then a flicker of righteous fire. We weren't just going to defend. We were going to attack. My despair was gone, replaced by a grim, cold determination. It was time to turn the tables. The moment we re-entered the courtroom was electric. We presented a motion to the judge, not with a defense, but with an accusation. We laid out the whole conspiracy, piece by damning piece. The financial trail, the photos, the perjury. I watched Arthur's face. That smooth, confident facade didn't just crack. It shattered. I saw the flash of pure panic in his eyes, the beads of sweat on his forehead. He looked at me, and for the first time, I saw fear. The hunter had become the hunted. The entire courtroom watched in stunned silence as his world imploded in slow motion. Justice, when it finally comes, is a strange thing. It's not loud or triumphant. It's quiet and cold. I watched as law enforcement officers, the same ones who'd arrested me, approached Arthur's desk. The click of handcuffs sounded different this time. It was the sound of consequence. His expensive briefcase slipped from his grasp and fell to the floor with a dull thud. He was led away, a defeated, humiliated man. The judge dismissed my case. Just like that, it was over. I was free. But I didn't feel like celebrating. I just felt empty. Walking out of the courthouse, the bright sun felt harsh after the darkness I'd been living in. I was a free man, but the experience had left a permanent scar. I stopped on the steps, looking back at the towering stone building. I had won, but I had lost something too. My faith in the system, my trust in people. It was a brutal lesson in a world where justice has a price tag. I turned away from the courthouse and walked on free, but forever changed by the knowledge that sometimes the person you pay to save you is the one holding the knife. Thanks for watching.